have an exciting video for you today because I have interviewed Ania Kubow, a software developer and a YouTuber who's creating content about technology and tutorials on games, on how to build games in JavaScript. We talked about her journey as a software developer because her background wasn't in computer science. Find out more from the interview today. And of course, make sure that you follow her on YouTube. If you don't know her channel already, I will leave a link to it in the description. And over there, you will also find another video we have done on her channel about my experience as a digital nomad. All right, let's get to the interview. Ania, thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to talk to you.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited.
So let's get straight into it. Can you please introduce yourself in terms of what do you do, where do you live, and what do you enjoy doing in your free time?
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Ania Kubow and I'm a software developer and YouTuber who loves to teach people how to code by making all sorts of JavaScript games, building projects, and so on. I currently live in London. That's currently, because I have lived in a few other places, and in my spare time, well, currently I don't have much of it. So it is making content. It is very much, putting out loads of stuff online and just teaching people in general. I really get a kick out of teaching people how to code.
That's awesome. And I love your approach to education and how fun you make your videos, because I think that when people make games and when it's gamified, it just accesses this side of our brains that, I don't know, I don't want to say get addicted to something, but something, the ones that want to see more and want to try more. And I don't know, I'm probably making things on the spot right now, making things up on the spot, but there's definitely a theory behind games.
No, like 100%. I think the reason why I like to teach through making games, for one, in coding, especially when you are just starting out, there's a language called JavaScript, if none of you have heard that before. And to get good at it, it's not so much about making stuff look good. That's what HTML and CSS are for. It's about making stuff work. And I think if you really want to get good at making stuff work, you have to think of, the logic behind what makes everything work. And games are the perfect way for that. If I was to give you an example, for example, say you have a website with a button. You click it, that is one thing. You click the button, that is one function. Whereas, if you're coding a game, for example, so many things happen in one moment. Like, let's take Snake. You've got the little snake, right? If you've played Snake before, the snake goes along the little grid, it finds an apple, and in that one moment, so many things happen. The snake grows, the apple disappears, that's two. The apple has to regenerate somewhere else, and the snake has to carry on moving. So it's just really interesting to actually make that all happen, and I think that's why if you want to improve your logical thinking, then games are the perfect way to do it.
That's awesome. Yeah, absolutely, 100%, because there's just so many scenarios that you have to think through. But what was your background before you got into software development, and how did you get into it?
Yes, well, I did not study computer science. I actually studied architecture at university, so very different. I think I got into architecture for perhaps, I was very unaware of what it would be. I went into it literally, it was a split decision between going into engineering and architecture, and I chose architecture. And I think for me personally, it was a bit more subjective than I was expecting it to be. I mean, there was a lot of, presenting your ideas and in a way, and a lot of presentation rather than actual, like, if does something work? Yes, no. And I think I was just attracted to it for the wrong reasons. And I still finished the majority of my course. I got my, I graduated, but in architecture, it's like you do 3 years and then you have to do a master's and a diploma to be an architect. So I just did the 3 years, and then I moved to Singapore and completely forgot about it and started my new life. I then actually started a startup while working in finance, and I think that's when I got hooked into software development. I remember I was an e-commerce business that I started with a few friends. And this was back when Wix and Weebly weren't a thing really, or at least I hadn't heard of them. And we were using something like really awful. I don't even think it's in business anymore. and I really wanted to get the brand essence right, and I was hating the templates because there was like 3. So I just started messing around with their HTML and CSS by myself, and I was just hooked. I was like, what is this? And then took the plunge, joined a boot camp, and yeah, now I'm working for a company in London, quite a big one. So it's been great. I've had a lot of help along the way.
That's awesome. And what was your bootcamp experience like?
It was good, actually. I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure if I recommend everyone join a bootcamp, just because there are so many other options if you don't have the resources to learn software development, which I don't think I was aware of. Of course, we have Free Code Camp, and there's just so much online. Just free online opportunities to learn whatever you need. So as long as you have a roadmap, that's fine. I didn't really know, I didn't have any friends that were software developers. I didn't have anyone to give me advice. So I just signed up to the bootcamp. I was lucky enough to get a part scholarship, but I do think they are maybe a little bit on the expensive side. So if you're thinking about doing one, great. But please do like research all the other options that are available, because there really are a lot.
I think that one of the hardest things for career changers, though, is finding their first job in technology, first job where they can apply the new skills that they have learned. So how was the process for you of finding your first job out of the boot camp? Was it difficult or was it easy? How was it?
I was very proactive. So before we even finished the bootcamp, I signed up to a lot of meetups. I got just more involved with the community and just started chatting to people. So by the time that the bootcamp was finished, a lot of people already knew I was doing the bootcamp. So that was a really massive help to me. It really helped my sort of anxiety, I think, after leaving the bootcamp. I was a bit like, okay, I'm not just going out in there and trying to find a job. I already have people that I have spoken to. Perhaps I can, follow up with them. So that's why if you are thinking about doing a bootcamp, or in general, just trying to find your first job, building up that community is just so important. Like, I can't stress that enough. That is something that I would definitely recommend you do. Join all the meetups, join the Discord channels, join Twitter and start making connections there. By the end of, I think I got a job pretty quick, which is quite nice. And I was not in a position, where I had to just take the first job coming. I had options, which was nice. I got to choose my job based on which offer I thought was the best for me. So yeah, that is something that I would definitely recommend.
That's awesome. Having options just always gives you so much more confidence and power when it comes to negotiation and all that stuff. That's awesome. And what would you do if you could redo it all over again? What would you do differently if you would?
I don't know. That's a difficult one. I think perhaps I would try self-learning, I think, for sure. I think it's quite rewarding. And then I would stop giving myself such a hard time, especially when it came to finding a job. I was like, I need one now, I need one tomorrow. I wish I gave myself a little bit of a break, to be honest, rather than just getting a job straight away, because the boot camps are really intense. It's 3 months that I did of just every single day. And then you had projects in the evening. Like, I was working weekends as well. So it was like, poo, 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 poo. And then I was like, poo, 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 job. So yeah, definitely give yourself a break.
That's a big one that sometimes we forget, especially working in technology where everything is, works because it's a robot. We think of ourselves as robots sometimes. So yeah, that's a great piece of advice for sure, because yeah, we only have one mental health, I think. But what would you recommend for everybody, for people who are watching this, who are thinking about getting into technology, and they're starting this journey? What would you recommend to them?
If you're thinking about getting into technology, I think definitely try out some videos first to see if coding's for you. You don't want to sign up to a bootcamp then realize maybe a week in that, oh, actually I don't like this, right? And then you're like 10 grand or however much out of pocket. So definitely try out some videos first on HTML, CSS and JavaScript. I would personally recommend, because then everything else is just sort of built on, well, not everything else, but the majority of what I am learning or have learnt has stemmed from those 3 things first. yeah, I would definitely recommend trying that out as number one. As number two, even if you are just thinking about it or you're just starting out, start up that community. And number three, I know I didn't really have any mentors, which I think really was hindering. If you can somehow forge a mentor-mentee relationship with someone, then that is probably the best advice I could give you.
There's just so much that needs to be explored before making that huge transition. And yeah, I couldn't agree more with you on the fact that, you know, the person needs to explore the field before actually committing to it, right? And like seeing if they actually enjoy it, because unfortunately, coding sometimes can be a buzzword, and a lot of people want to transition into this career without really understanding what it entails. And they look out for, you know, the most lucrative technology to learn and the most, I don't know, the coding language that is the most popular one. But, you know, like, are you gonna actually enjoy this? You gotta find something that you enjoy.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, definitely do those starter videos first.
100%. I was incredibly in love with the rapid fire section that we did in the interview on your channel. The link will be in the description over here, down there, but down there. So I decided to copy it with my own questions that somehow actually ended up mimicking yours. So are you ready for those?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, so first question is iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
What's your favorite ice cream flavor?
Oh, that's a hard one. Hazelnut.
Nice, I like that one.
Yeah.
What's the next place you want to travel to when it's safe to do so?
Ooh, I'm gonna say Cambodia.
Oh my God, yes, amazing. How many hours do you need? How many hours of sleep do you need to feel like yourself?
9. I want to say 10, but I'm gonna say 9 because it's too embarrassing to say 10.
And what's your superpower?
Hyperfocus. I can really hyperfocus for a really long time and I don't know where it comes from. I could just literally sit there at something and go like, yeah, and then like 8 hours have gone by and it's creepy. So that's my superpower.
That is something that I'm incredibly jealous of, because I have an attention span of a butterfly. So that's awesome. All right, let's discuss those. So iPhone, Android, we discussed it in that video with you, but yeah, you said that you're an iPhone person?
I'm an iPhone person. I think, do you know what? Like, for ages, I think I didn't want one. I was like, no, I'm not going to have one. And then I got an iPhone. And then it was just sort of without question. Then I got the MacBook. And then I got this. And just because I'm lazy. And it just fit. So I was like, fine, that one. But I have been toying about, you know, like maybe using a Google Pixel. So you never know.
Yeah, it just fits. Like, I am using a Pixel right now, but I'm about to switch, like I told you in the other video. Just because it's so much easier with the whole ecosystem, and I mean that's why they make it that way. So yeah. Dogs or cats?
I said dogs because I just think they're adorable and they're cuddly and they give off such a good energy and they're always, I mean, I'm generalizing, right? I'm not saying every dog is, but they're always just happy and I'm just like, I want that. I want you're giving me that. So that's why I would say dogs. That's not to say I hate cats. You don't have to hate the other one, but I would say I'm a dog person for sure.
100% with you there on all of what you said. And yes, don't hate cats, but dogs all the way. My husband's parents have 3 dogs right now, and it's the best thing in the world. We go to see them, like we're in the same household kind of thing, and we go to see them every Sunday, and it's the best.
It's so nice. I'm so jealous.
So ice cream flavor, you said hazelnut. Love that choice.
I said hazelnut just because someone once told me that, you know, like you should always choose, you always know if an ice cream shop is good by the flavor of vanilla. So for ages I would say vanilla, but I was like, that's not actually, I don't know why I'm saying vanilla. And then I thought about it and I did some ice cream testing and hazelnut all the way. It's just great.
It tastes like Nutella if it's good.
Yeah, it tastes like Nutella. I think that's why I like it.
It's not quite chocolate yet, so you don't feel as bad about yourself, and you're like, yeah.
You're like, it's nuts, it's good for me.
Yeah, exactly. It's protein. And then the next place you want to travel to, Cambodia. Tell me why.
Yes, so I think it's gonna have to be Cambodia. Now, I lived in Singapore, and I literally did about all the countries around Singapore, and then I left like I think after a year and a bit, and I never got to visit Cambodia. So I'm like, have been wanting to go back there ever since I left Singapore, but then I'm like, oh no, but this place and this place, I'll visit Cambodia eventually. So I think finally I'm gonna have to go there as soon as I can, basically. So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Then,
love to visit that as well.
yeah.
How many hours you need of sleep to feel like yourself? You said 9.
I mean, I think not like, yeah, at the moment it's definitely 9. Like I said, I'm just so not a morning person. I would love to, I'd want to train myself to sleep less, but I think to really feel like normal, it's 9. Maybe one day it will be 8, but I won't hold my breath.
So what time do you go to sleep?
The earliest is probably like 11:30 p.m. and then like at midnight. I hate to be awake after midnight, but I'd say 11:30 to midnight, and then I get up at 9.
No shame whatsoever. I used to sometimes, because we had, when I was in the UK, I worked at Google and we had breakfast from 8 to 10. And I made sure I would wake up as late as I could so that I could turn up to work, just not to miss breakfast right before 10. I am not kidding. And like, I would not do my makeup. I would just wear baggy jeans and a t-shirt. I didn't care. I was waking up as late as I could. I feel you. But like, maybe this is a topic for another video, but I feel like going to bed before 10, like that, I've read somewhere that that time of sleeping between 10 and 2 a.m. is like the most powerful in terms of how much like return for investment you get. I don't know. This could be some voodoo stuff. But it's
sure.
I have found that if I go to bed after 10, I need more sleep to actually like.
Yeah. You've converted me. I'm gonna try. We'll speak in a week.
You gotta try. You gotta try, because I have been a convert. I've been exactly where you are, and yeah, it took discipline and another person who's in the same bedroom as me, but yeah, it's possible. It's doable. Okay, and so you gotta try it. And then superpower, super focus, like hyper focus. That is amazing.
Yes, I don't know where it comes from or why. I've just never questioned it because I'm like, yes, this is really, really useful. Not always, by the way, but on the majority, if I need to get shit done, like I will just sit there until it's done. Like, my boyfriend will come and he's like, have you not moved? I'll be like, no. It's sort of creepy. So I don't know if anyone out there has the same. If you do, please comment and let me know I'm not by myself. So yeah, I mean, it's a weird one, but it's a positive weird one. So that's my superpower.
For sure. It's such a positive one, especially for a software developer. I feel like getting shit done is, I don't know. If you can do that, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. I am incredibly excited to publish this video when it goes live. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing your tips again and sharing your journey with my followers, because it's always very interesting to see how people ended up in technology and how they, like, what would they do differently and what would they recommend for others, etc. So thank you so much.
No worries. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, amazing.
Thank you so much once again, Ania. This was awesome. It was so great to learn more about you and your journey, and also those tips were incredibly useful for everyone who's thinking about changing their careers and going into technology. Make sure that you follow Ania's channel. The link is in the description, and also watch our other video where she's interviewing me, and there's a fun speed round as well, which has inspired me to do this speed round too. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this video, Ania's journey, and if it has resonated with you, whether it has motivated you or inspired you. And of course, what you think about this format. Super curious to hear your opinion, so let me know. Like this video if you've enjoyed it, and share it with a friend who might benefit from it. Subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't already, and let's be friends on other social media. If you are not following me there yet, you can find me as Coding Blonde. Have a wonderful time the day you're currently experiencing. Bye.